Hi there, this is Indra. In this video, we're going to show you some organizational tips and tricks that I use in my Kodiak Cub camper. And if you have any suggestions for me, I'd really appreciate that. You can drop it down in the comments, please. But this is meant to show those of you who might be interested or who have a similar camper, some of the things that I do to organize our camper. Now, our camper is 21.5 feet from hitch back there to the bumper. And so it's a little one, and so I hope that this video is helpful for you as you look to organize your camper. Now, I do have it hooked up here at home in our driveway, and you can see we just have it on a 20 amp line, so I don't have the air conditioning and everything on, but it's enough to run what I need to run in there while we have it parked at home. So let's take a look at the services side first. There's only one storage bin. It runs under the bed in the camper, and it's huge, and we really like it. And so this is the services side, and it is pass-through storage. And so on this side, we have our services side storage. And so you can see here we have our weight distributing hitch, which is where we store it when we're not towing. And then we also take that off at the campground, because I understand that is a commonly stolen item at a campground. There is our black tank tub, and we can see here we have our blank tank hose. It's an old water hose, so we don't use that for water, but that's our blank tank hose, and all of our fittings and our extra hose. And our husband has a pair of rubber gloves in there, which I would use to whenever I empty the tank. We also have some of our blocks over here that go underneath for leveling, and so we have that in there as well. We also have our electrical box over here, and so that's what we have in there. So our cords, our dog bone adapters, right, are all in there. And then back in here, back behind there, we have our freshwater lines, and that's what we bring the water to the services side with. And so that's what we have going on the services side of the camper. And now we come around to the door side of the camper. This is where we keep the lawn chairs, and I have a vehicle organizing bin, as you can see here. We've also got our rug and things like that we keep inside there. We also have our clam, which is our pop-up screen tent and stuff in there. It's all pretty easily accessible. Of course, I keep my level. Oh, my level's disappeared. Oh, somebody, unnamed person's probably borrowed that. So I'll make sure it's back in there. We're about to leave out on a long trip here in just next week, so I'll make sure that my level's in there. And so you can see we keep a full set of tools and everything, so that we can repair things as we need to on the camper. And that's it for the outside storage. Now let's take a look at the inside. Now here we're inside the camper, just inside the door. It is a small camper. We were having a problem with a lot of light when we first got the camper. That's the one thing we noticed on our shakedown tour. A lot of light coming in this door, and I don't want to block it all out, but we do want to block it out perhaps in the morning so that we can sleep in a little bit. So what I did, and it's really simple, I bought a piece of felt off of Amazon, about like a yard of black felt, and then I cut it to fit, and so it's sandwiched there between the screen door and the outside door. And then I just bent a safety pin and attached it to the screen door. So all we have to do is, when I don't want that, basically I just flip it up and over the top and pull it inside, or I can really easily unpin it and take it off. And so that provides us a little bit more shade as we enjoy a little bit of a sleep in the morning sometimes. But I can let the light in easily, and this was really, really cheap to do it this way, right? And then the screen door, we actually use the little hole here as a pass-through. When my husband, we do most of our cooking outside, and when my husband's outside, we'll pass things through the hole there in the door, and so that works really, really well for us. Moving on to the bed area, I think that's the most important thing in the camper aesthetically that you want to take care of, because the bed occupies such a huge part of your space. And so I found it worthwhile to make sure I had a cute quilt on there that I really like, and to make sure that's nice and pleasing and helps bring the colors on the campus. And so I used that quilt, and I matched the rugs and everything to match that particular quilt. And so it's kind of a outdoorsy themed quilt. This is a camper queen bed, And so that means it's the regular size, the regular width of a queen bed. It's just, I think, about 4 inches shorter. I think it's 4 or 6 inches shorter. And so that means I buy normal, you can buy camper queen sheets. I buy normal sheets, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in a second. Now, I am 5'8", and so on the tall side, not super tall, but on the tall side as women go. My husband's 6 feet tall, and so that's, you know, on the tall side, but not the tallest as men go. I fit on there perfectly. My husband's feet tend to stick off at the end, and he also tends to sleep a little bit more outstretched than I do. Making the bed is like wrestling a bear for most people, and we bought a walk-around bed. Our last camper actually had an east-west bed in it, and we had to crawl over each other, and making that thing was like wrestling a bear. This one is not much different because these cubby wardrobes come out about halfway down the bed. So I do have to crawl up on there, and I tuck so I pull the mattress out a little bit, and then I crawl up on there, and I tuck the top side of the sheet in first, and then I crawl off of it, and then I'll tuck the sheet in at the bottom end. And so I let the excess part of the sheet, because my sheets are for standard queens, I let that hang off the end, and then I actually tuck it up underneath the mattress there at the end. And so that's how it works for me. So that's a little bit of a to-do. I think they make, for people who, now my back isn't great, and my neck isn't great, but there are people who certainly wouldn't be able to do that. And so if you need to get a camper this size where you need to make the bed, they do make bed solutions where you zip on and zip off things. They're a little pricey, but to save your back, I mean, your back is everything. So that might be worth it for you in the end. Let's take a look at some of the organization in the bed area. Now, what I really like about this camper is there are these cubbies in the back, and you can't see Dad in there, but there are outlets in each of the cubbies, including USB ports. So my husband sleeps on that side. He puts a CPAP up there and can plug it in down below. And then on my side, that's where I put my glasses and things like that. He also wears glasses, and so we can stow all that stuff there very conveniently at night. On my side, I've got a clamp-on LED lamp. There are lights in this model right up above the bed, but I find that they blare down right in your face and they don't work very well as reading lights. And so I have a clamp-on like LED light that plugs into a USB outlet in my little cubby. And so I like that very much there. Now up above, we have these cabinets, and they're, you know, fairly deep. Now they do slope up because it's on the nose of the camper. On this side, you can see I have blankets and sheets, and there's a little throw blanket in there that I keep in there. On the other side, we do have a teenage son. Our youngest child is 17. He doesn't go with us very much, but when he does, like he will be next week when we go out to visit family, we put his clothes. I have a bin that I'll show you in a little bit later in the video. We have a bin that fits perfectly up in here, and I have him put his clothes and things like that in. We store his clothes up there. Now this model has a wardrobe on each side with a hanging rod. And so most of our clothes, and we even do this in our house, are hanging anyway. And so we hang it there. Sorry, somebody enjoying their motorcycle on this beautiful day. And so we put most of our clothes in there, hanging everything that can hang. And it packs together in there nicely. And then up top, I don't have my husband's basket out here, so I'll switch over to my side. Up top, I bought these baskets at the Dollar Tree. This is the best thing I could find that would fit. It fits pretty much most of the way back in there with a little bit of, you know, just a few inches of extra space there. But it fits back in there. And this is where I put my unmentionables. And I pack those in this basket, and I just pack it in the house and I haul it out here to the camper. I would like to find something prettier than a red basket, but for right now it is cheap and it is functioning for us really well. And then I use this stand right here. I throw keys on there a lot. I did buy some command hooks that I'm going to actually put on the inside here. I think I can do it there. I think it's smooth enough to hang my car keys and things like that. But I do have a USB cord. It's a really long one running out from the bed to down here, because this is where I put my phone and things to charge. Now let's talk a little bit more about our mattress situation. Of course, we took out the original camper mattress that came with it because that's I think Josh the RV nerd calls it a death wafer. And we bought an 8-inch memory foam mattress that you can see here. I really should have bought a 10-inch. I really wish I bought a 10-inch. And then I also bought a fully encased mattress cover to go on it, so that way if we have a leak or whatever, and we won't have mold and issues and things like that. But I really wished I had bought a 10-inch. I was afraid it was going to block the cubbies too much, but for our backs we really need that. So instead I bought this, 3-inch memory foam topper to go on there. I don't recommend this for most people. Like I said, my back isn't the best, and crawling on this, I mean, it's really good to sleep on if you're sleeping in one position, but to move around on, like when you have to turn at night, it's like trying to move through, Jello, and so it takes more effort for me to move positions, and I wake up a little bit more when I'm sleeping doing that. So I don't recommend that. Go ahead and you can do a 10-inch mattress here and still have a little space, in your cubbies in one of these Kodiak Cubs. So I would do a 10-inch, unless you're young and your back is great, but I would do a 10-inch there. And then, like I said, the sheet just tucks under the side of the bed, and then I flip it down. I do tend to keep my bed made up because it takes up so much of the space in the camper. So when we get up, my husband and I, and we just throw the quilt up there, and I don't tuck it in up there or anything. And I find that throw pillows hide a lot of sin. So we throw it up there, and then I put the throw pillows and things like that, and it hides a lot of sin. So that's how we cheat and get around with that one. Also under the bed, I have these little shoe holders. I've actually bought one that holds 4 shoes, and I cut it in half, and then I've got it stuck to the bottom there with command hooks. And you can see we keep our bug spray there and things like that, and it's out of the way. I did think about putting it over here, but there's really not enough room, and I find I would be hitting stuff all the time going in and out the door over here. But here, you can reach it from the outside just opening the door. And on that side right now, I've got a water bottle holder that I crocheted. I'll show that to you. Crocheting is a hobby of mine, and so I crocheted this water bottle sling that works well for me. So I keep it there as a convenient place to put that. And then I put the other piece down under there, and I like it so much, it gives me a place to put my shoes where I'm not tripping over them, because the bed does, I mean, there's quite a bit of overlap here, and the bed does, and it does keep it out of the way. So I think I'm going to get 2 more for here and for here, so my husband put his shoes in, because right now he is putting his shoes over here on his side of the bed, which is great, but then I find he's tripping over it in the night when he's getting up to go to the bathroom. Now on each side of our bed, we found that we need, because of the height of the mattress, and there's a lot of storage under this mattress that's hard to get to because it's so heavy to lift. So we try not to get under there very much. But because of the height of it, we found that even though my husband's 6 feet tall with long legs and I'm 5'8", I don't have long legs, but I have a longer torso. We both needed these step stools for comfort for getting up. So I have one on my side, he has one on his side for getting on and off the bed. All right, so that's pretty much the bed area, and next we'll move on to the kitchen dinette area. And now we've stepped over to the kitchen and dinette area. Do keep in mind, I don't have my stabilizers down, and so if you hear all the shaking, that's not normal for when we have it set up at the campsite. The previous owner, we bought this very, very lightly used. The previous owner installed a metal mini blind across the broad window there, and I really like that broad window. I leave that blind open most of the day. It lets light in, and it doesn't, compromise our privacy very much. Right now the camper is sitting, and so I have a small dehumidifier running in here. We're in Pennsylvania, so the humidity isn't as bad as like you have in the South, but still, we don't want to have any mold growing in the camper. So let's start up top here. This microwave is wonderful. We went without a microwave in our last camper for a while and regretted it. It's one of the things that we're really glad we have back. My husband uses it to make his coffee, and I'll show you his coffee maker in just a moment. In this cabinet size is where I keep a lot of my dishes. I bought lightweight because I don't want to add excess weight to the camper, so I got these dish set. Well, it's not really a set, it's pieces at Walmart for like, I want to say it was 50 cents a piece. So I've got the plates, and then we also keep paper plates in here and things like that. And then I have bowls that I'll show you in just a moment down in the drawer. I also have this big mixing bowl set that I also got at Walmart. It was pretty cheap, and it's like nested, and it's multiple sizes, and there's 7 bowls there, and I use that a lot. And then we keep a teapot for when we're boondocking a little bit more, when we don't have electric. And so we use that to boil water on the stovetop for my husband to make coffee and me to make tea. And then you can see my husband's coffee is back there. This is my husband's coffee maker. It's an Aeropress. And this is the whole thing. Right, this is the whole thing. It's basically a French press that's really compact. He liked it so much, he kept taking it out of the camper to use in the house. I bought another one for the house because of that. And so this is really good. It makes coffee. He generally drinks his coffee in a travel mug. So this is one my son actually made for him in high school, and did the I can't remember. I think that's laser engraving on there for him. So that's really cute. He uses that a lot. And you can see I have one of these metal racks in here to separate the space to make it more usable. Keep my foil and wraps there, and then over here I have storage containers. And then this is where I put the pans that fit in my toaster oven and cutting board and my reusable silicone Ziploc bags. And then you can see here I have a condiment bottle and things like that right here. So the pans and things that I use for my toaster oven, I keep it right there. Now down below, what I really like about this model is a really nice big sink with a gooseneck faucet. I'll take the cover off here so you can see it. I don't ever use this cover for a chopping board. I don't want to booger it up. And so instead, when we're cooking on the stove in here, when we do that, when we have to, because I prefer to cook outside to keep the odors out, I leave it over here as kind of like a splash guard. So if grease and stuff gets on there, it's easy to wipe off, and it doesn't, mess up the paneling in the trailer. And then down here I found this dish rack at the Dollar Tree for, I think it was $1.25 now. And it fits actually perfectly down inside that sink. And I really, really like that feature. And then sometimes I'll lay the sink cover sideways over here, so it gives me a little more counter space. And then we can use this half the sink for washing and getting water and stuff like that. And then that half the sink for, we keep our dish drainer in there. Has a really nice 2-burner cooktop that we only use during the winter or when the late fall, early spring when we're camping in those kinds of conditions. All right, this side, this is where I keep my silverware and utensils. I have this silverware organizer that I got at the dollar store, so it's like $1.25, whatever it was, and it fits perfectly across that drawer. That was really wonderful, and that was an accident. It wasn't by design. It was a happy accident. But underneath it is where I put all the cooking utensils. And I guess some people will buy new utensils for the house and then put the used ones out here in the camper. And because it's me and my husband, I don't have to worry about kids running off with stuff. I know I have grown children, and I know that can happen. Kids will run off with stuff, but we don't have that problem anymore. So I find that I like a kind of unified look in here. It just makes it feel more cohesive and less scattered. But honestly, if I had kids that I had to worry about them running off my spoon to go dig in the yard with, I would certainly bring the used stuff from the house out here. But they'd take it out of the house too. So, and then this bottom drawer, you can see I have some pot holders. That's where I keep some of my cereal soup mugs, and then the plastic bowls that I got at Walmart, measuring cups and spoons, and it's a nice little set. I also got that at Walmart. That was really nice. And it hooks onto this easy to open loop thing. And then more coffee filters for my husband's Aeropress. And so everything's nested in there. It fits pretty good. Now underneath this drawer is where the water pump is in this particular unit. And so this drawer does pop out in case you have to access the water pump. And then also that's where the hose is for the pump for winterization, for pumping the RV antifreeze through if you use that. Now on this side, this is below the kitchen cabinet. It's a generous size storage area, so to make the most of it, I have another wire rack running front to back. And you can see on top of that I have my nesting pot and pan set. And I actually crocheted like a trivet for it, and it's under the big pot there, but above the frying pan. And then I put these strings on it that I crocheted out and back with a single crochet that we can loop through and tie it all together. And so it holds everything together. The only thing that's loose from the rest is the frying pan down there at the bottom. I bought these at Walmart, and I believe it's a Rachael Ray set that I got, 3 years ago. And then the pothole thing on the bottom keeps my frying pan from getting scratched up. We use this big storage container. It has a handle on it. This is our kitchen trash can. One of the grocery sacks fits down in there pretty good. You can see I have a rack back there. We use a Swiffer that I keep. It's real easy to pop apart, and so I have a Swiffer under there, and then I also have a fold-down Camco broom and dustpan. I have a pop-up dish pan there that I use when I'm washing the dishes, and then we keep, my cleaners in there. One thing about cleaners in a camper. Now, I'm a chemist. That's what I do for a profession, and actually I'm a chemistry professor, and so I teach people how to work with dangerous things safely. Please, folks, please don't use bleach in your campers unless it's really well ventilated, and I would avoid using it at all. It's a lot of fumes, or ammonia, or anything else that's really fumy. Ammonia, especially, it cuts grease really nice, but ammonia is neurotoxic, and I don't want you to have to. I don't want you inhaling those vapors. As somebody who cares about the public out there, so I would not use any harsh solvents in here or anything that's got a lot of noxious odors. Unless that's your last resort. So I clean with a lot of white vinegar solution. I also have some more natural-based cleaners down there that I use to do this. And so just be real careful with the chemicals that you use in your camper. Try not to use anything too harsh, or that's going to have a lot of vapors, because you don't need to be breathing all that in, especially in such an enclosed space. Right, and so you can see that's the lid actually for this for my makeshift trash can down there. So, and I really like that. It works really well. And when we travel, and if I have trash in there and it's not time to empty it, that lid can actually pop on top of the trash can and then keep it contained for travel days. All right, and then in the refrigerator and the freezer, I don't really have very much organization going on in there right now. You can see it's turned off and everything's dried out. So if you guys have tips, right, one tip I do know is that you don't want to pack this full because this particular one is an absorption fridge, so you don't want to pack it full. But I could use some tips and stuff like that if you want to share. I'd be happy to see it if you put down in the comments below some tips for organizing the fridge. So that's the kitchen side, and next we'll be moving around to the dinette side. Now down here is our dinette. And of course, I'm pointing out the obvious. And we have it in travel mode. What is a little unusual right now is we have the table flipped over. This table is removable. You can take it outside, or you can store it in your garage or whatever. But it also makes the bed. And our teen son, he's a little over 6 feet tall. He just fits on this bed. Fortunately, he doesn't sleep stretched out, but he just barely fits in there. But for like a child who's not so big, they would fit just fine. We do have the table flipped over because the strap that holds the legs up broke, and we did not want the legs to get boogered up or to dig into the floor or anything like that. So we flipped it over for our trip the last time we took it camping. It does have these cleats here that fit into the wall. We found that you really have to take the table down to travel, because if you don't, the vibration of the camper during travel will actually dislodge the hardware. And so we actually had the cleats wanting to pop out of the table bottom. So my husband's put them back in there and reinforced them. But we make sure that the table is down. Normally we have it flipped in the normal way every time that we travel. And then the last time we traveled, our son wasn't with us. And so we actually put the table down and we made the bed out. We put a bunch of like throw pillows down here. And we use this as our TV lounge. And so you can see our televisions over here on the wall. It's a 24-inch Roku television that we bought at Walmart for under $100. I'm not going to pay a lot of money for a TV for a camper. It fits into a little cleat on the back there, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in just a moment. But this does pop up. I like it having the dinette inside, especially in the wintertime. Of course, we have to have it, but I prefer the dinette in the summer. But I'd rather have it as a TV watching lounge for me and my husband, where we can stretch out and snuggle up together and enjoy movies and things like that. For when it's raining outside in the evening, or if we just want to, sometimes our camper's a hotel. Sometimes it's a camper. When it's a hotel, sometimes we just want to be in here. We're not in the campground for nature. We're in the campground because we're visiting family and whatnot. And so we use it as more of a like a TV watching lounge area. But the table works great. It does give you more space, and of course makes it comfortable to dine and everything like that if you're dining inside. All right, so moving on, let's talk a little bit more about the TV. Sorry, lost video for a second there. So we pop the TV off for travel days, and the TV goes face down on the bed with the cushions and stuff like that, and it stays there really, really nicely. And it pops out really easy. You can also go outside. There's a bracket outside for it, but we don't really feel the need to watch TV outside. But you know, if that's your thing, then that's okay with us. I'm not one to criticize anybody for how they use their camper. Life is short. You need to enjoy your camper the way that you want to. Now up here in the cabin, I have one of those racks. Below I keep my dish towels, box of tissues, my picnic tablecloth, and extra roll of paper towels. And then up here I have a toaster oven. That's the cheapo one from Walmart. I find it's wonderful. Most of the time, if I can, I take it outside to bake in or toast in. And there's the outlet outside that I use, and then I have a little aluminum table I pop it onto. Those are our Blackstone griddle tools that I have stashed up there. So, and then you can see I have some like bedding, and then my trivets and stuff are there to cushion the toaster oven when we're writing. On this side, to one side, I bought a magazine organizer or file organizer, and I have our bag of bags in there. So our grocery bags and stuff are in there. And then one of these bins that I use that I'll show you in the bathroom fits perfectly in there, and that's on short trips. I bring our food to put in there. On long trips, I actually pull the food out and we'll push it in there, and then I'll put the bin. The bins collapse down really nice. I'll put the bin away someplace else if we don't need it. And so that's the dinette side. There is drawer storage under here. Before I forget, so this is like our assorted stuff drawer, like everybody has in their house. And then on the other side right now, I just have a couple flashlights in it. And then you can see I made a door, because the bathroom door opens into it. I crocheted like a little sleeve to go on there as a door stop to keep it from the door from banging into the drawer if somebody opens it a little too briskly. All right, so that's the dinette side, and next we'll be taking a look at the bathroom. One of the reasons we like this model is this rear bath, and it's roomier than any model of a comparable length that we looked at when we were looking at campers. And so here we have the standard foot pedal flush toilet, and then you can see here that I have the cereal container I bought at Walmart, and that's my bathroom trash can, and it has a really big space to flip up lid. Grocery sack fits in there perfectly, and then I put the lid down on top of the grocery sack to kind of hold it in place. And so that's our restroom trash can. Has a really big 3x3 shower with a skylight over the top. I'm 5'8", I fit in there nice. My husband is 6 feet, he fits in there nice. Now if you're a really tall guy or gal, you'll want to check for headspace. But I made sure when we bought it that I could bend over and reach my ankles and things as I step in the shower. You have to make sure, if you have the glass doors here, I love the glass doors, that on travel days that you latch these things down, otherwise you'll end up with shattered doors. And so this is one of the things I check when I'm doing my pass-through check on travel day. Now on this side I have some command hooks, the command ones that are good for the shower or the bath. And on this side I have this home crocheted out of kind of scrap yarn that I happen to have around the house, 3-pocket organizer. So I just crocheted a mesh thing and I just did it in my spare time out of scrap yarn sitting in my living room. That stuff tucks down into, and this thing, this dries really nice, and it'll wash if I ever need to. And I've reinforced it here at the bottom, and then I've also reinforced it here at the top where it hooks into the hanger, and I find that 3 full bottles of products, shower products, will fit in there just fine. Now on this side we are set up for travel right now, so you can see I have all my products squished in there together. Remember, things do shift as you travel, but you can see my products in there. Something you're going to want to get that I find really handy is like a little night light, because we do have to go to the restroom in the middle of the night. And this model has nice counter space as campers go. Now here's what I really want to show you underneath. I have our towels tucked into this bin. This is actually a good sized collapsible bin that I bought at Amazon, and I didn't know it was a 3-pack. That was the happiest accident ever, because this bin fits perfectly in this space. It also fits perfectly above the bed in that cubby space, and it fits perfectly above the dinette in that cubby space. And so that's been the happiest accident ever, is getting that pack of 3 bins where I thought I was getting 1 bin, and that was a really good value for that. On this side, you can see I have our TP and things like that in this little tote. And then we hang towels and stuff there. I'm thinking about getting an over-the-door kind of hanger. I just don't want the over-the-door part to booger up the wood. So if you have any feedback on that, if you want to put it down in the comments, I'd appreciate that. I just don't like my wood boogered up. That's one of the things that's one of my pet peeves. So if it doesn't bother you so much, then great. I mean, I'm for everybody for what makes them happy. And then, of course, we have our little contour toilet rug down here that fits around there just perfectly, and it dries really nice and goes in the toilet. And then I also have, you can see my squeegee down at the bottom, and we squeegee the shower out to the best of our ability when we use it, just to help it dry out some. All right, well, that's how I organize our Kodiak Cub 177 RB camper. And I'm always happy to answer any questions that you might have. If you drop it in the comments below, I'll get back to you. And then also any suggestions you might have that might help me out. And so we're middle-aged, campers. We're weekend warriors mostly, so we don't need full-time living stuff. And then our son is occasionally with us, our teenager. And then maybe our grandson, who's also a teenager, might be occasionally with us. But other than that, weekend warriors, this camper works just really, really wonderful for us. Thanks so much for watching the video, and if you're looking for more campsite videos, be sure to watch my channel, and you'll see campsites. Every campsite we go to, I make a little video vlog so you can see what the campsites look like. All right, have a great day, and happy camping, everybody.